Hey fellow YouTubers, JJ the Trucker coming to you from Fenton, Missouri. Sorry, I always get that wrong. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I lived in Missouri for 10 years, St. Louis. So yeah, I know all about it. Anyways, I had a request to do a video on fuel mileage and how I calculate it and all that stuff. So here we go. Let's knock this out. So it's important to know there's three different ways you can track your fuel mileage. One is kind of accurate, one is terribly inaccurate, and then the other way is the most accurate. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is the OmniTrax. You can get the same information on the Qualcomm. You go to your performance, and you can see right here, and it is showing me all kinds of good stuff, including my miles per gallon. Now, this automatically resets every time you get fuel. How it knows you got fuel, not exactly sure. I'm not sure if it goes by the sensor in the tank, or if it goes by knowing that you filled up using your COM data card. I really don't know, but I do know for sure that it resets every single time I fuel up, and it tells me how many gallons I've used, which is nice, as well as the distance that I've traveled since fueling up. This is pretty darn accurate. It only accounts, however, for the fuel you use while you are actually driving and moving, or when the truck is running, I should say. It does not account for fuel used by the APU. That's important. Okay. Other information that it tells you, which is cool, it tells you over RPM, like if you're revving really too high or something like that, over idle, over speed, cruise control percentage, which is pretty cool. As you can see, not a lot of cruise control over the last couple days here. Been in a lot of traffic, construction, stuff like that. A little bit of weather. Top gear percentage, that's how often you're in 12th gear. A lot of hills here too, so not a lot of top gear. So you can see my my miles per gallon could probably be higher if I would do this. I've also been running drop-in hooks, which means I've been going 65 miles per hour instead of 60 or 62 if something was scheduled, because I want to get there as quickly as I can. So so you can see I'm running about 8.1 miles per gallon right now, and that's fairly accurate. Now check this out. You go over here to the dash for the Freightliner, and I've noticed, I don't know if it's just my truck, I'd like to hear comments on this, but the Freightliner is wildly inaccurate. Usually about a full mile per gallon or more off in the bad direction. It tells you, it's telling me I'm getting 9.1 miles per gallon for this trip. And this trip meter right here, I reset this trip meter when I refuel, and then the leg meter, I reset that when whenever I pick up a new load or whatever, just whenever I want to. So you can see it's saying 9.1 miles per gallon. That's not really accurate. You can definitely tell that. But I was curious. I was like, well, what's the difference here? Which one is accurate, which one isn't? So I started doing the most accurate method that you can, and that is actually measuring it out. First thing I did, obviously, is I checked to make sure that the mileage readings were correct. Okay, go down the highway, use your mile markers, reset the trip meter, or the leg meter is what I ended up resetting, and go down and measure it up against the mile markers. Go a couple 100 miles, 300 miles. Make if you're on the same highway, make sure that they're matching up, and those did. Make sure your speed is matching up. I've seen a couple trucks where the speed is not matching up. It says you're going 65 on the speedometer, but in reality, if you look at your GPS, or if you look at those the radars and stuff to tell you how fast you're going, in construction zones, they'll usually be a little bit off. So if that's the case, you're not going to get average, you're not going to get good readings anyway. You want to make sure you get into the shop and get that adjusted. I think that may be due to just tread wear. As you wear your tread, your tires get smaller, your wheels have to go around a little faster, etc., etc. So I'm not 100% sure on that. That's my best guess. So anyways, I ended up starting to track this manually. And to track it manually, all you do is you keep an eye on number of miles that you've driven. This is when you fill up. Completely fill up the tank. Start with the full tank. Go through. Next time you fill up, you've got your number of miles that you've driven, and then you fill back up, and you know how many gallons that you've used in those amount of miles. And here we go. Now, if you can read my writing, great. If not, don't worry. I'm going to explain it. So here are some different trips that I've made here. We've got 7 different trips where I've tracked it. All right. So the first one went 863.7 miles. Ended up putting in 117.6 gallons at the pump. Okay. Now the truck said I was getting 8.9 miles per gallon. The OmniTrack said I was getting 7.9 miles per gallon. The actual calculation, which is miles divided by gallons, ended up being 7.3 miles per gallon actual. That's terrible. I do remember this. There was a lot of bad weather, a lot of wind. It was cold. I was using the APU a lot. I was dropping hooks. I mean, it was still 7.3 was really bad. So I was like, I can do better than that. The next fill up, 889.7 miles, 111 gallons used. The truck was saying I was getting 9.5 miles per gallon. I forgot to get the OmniTrack settings. It does reset on you automatically. But I bumped it up to 7.78, almost 7.8 miles per gallon. Like, all right, still a little low. The next trip, or the next fill up, 790 miles. I think it says 100 gallons. 9.1 was what the truck was saying. 8.1 was what the Omni was saying. 7.9 actual. So you can see the OmniTrack is definitely a lot more accurate in what it's reading than the truck. The truck is way, way off, as you can see. All right, so I kept going. Next time was 7.8 actual. Truck was saying 9. OmniTrack was saying 8.1. So that's a little closer. Again, still cold. Still a lot of APU usage and stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, well, I took the ACE class, or that ACE 2 class, slowed down a little bit, had some schedule drops, weather warmed up a little bit, still cold, still using the APU, but you can see it was starting to go up here, 7.87 miles per hour. This was when I was actually at the yard, so I had a lot of bobtail time, yard time. It was a lot of short trips and stuff like that, not a lot of highway miles. And then look at this one. Finally, got it back up there. 9.31. My first 150 miles were at 65, but I was really, really lightweight, and some deadhead time. So that, I'm sure, really accounted for some of that. After that, this was a normal trip, going 60 to 62 miles per hour, and bumped that up to 8.53 miles per gallon. And as you can see right now, even with the deadhead time and stuff like that, or not deadhead, but even with the dropping hooks and everything, I'm still doing better because I'm keeping that over rev down, which really, really helps. And there we go. You can see 8.1 miles per gallon. Not too bad. So I've definitely improved my fuel mileage. Speed is definitely a big factor. Everybody goes, why you go so slow? You guys go 58 miles an hour. You guys are going 62. You guys are going 65. Whatever. Okay. Well, that's why, Well, safety. Okay, yes, safety is the number one reason. Okay, safety. Sure. Yes, it is definitely safer to go slower, especially for a noob. I'm a noob. A lot of people coming with out of training with Prime, so we're noobs. Going slow is definitely an advantage for safety reasons, but fuel mileage is also big. As far as the speeds, if you're a company driver, you're going to be going 58. You're limited to 58. I've heard some company drivers get set to 62, but as far as I understand, it's supposed to be 58. If you are a lease or owner op, either one of those, then you can choose where to set your governor up to 65. So you can set it to 58. I know some owner ops that have it set to 58. I know some lease ops that have it set to 62. I've got mine set to 65 because that gives me the option. I can run slower if I want to. You know, cruise control is very, very nice. And I can run faster and get there sooner and get another load if I want to, which means more money, which offsets the gas cost. So anyways, that is definitely a big factor, low speed. Something that they go through in the Ace 2 class is your RPMs. And the more RPMs you're running, the more fuel you're running. That right there is a very important gauge to be able to tell. What's important is this right here, 1100. 1100 is the optimal range for this model and style of Freightliner built for Prime. It's where you're getting the best torque and fuel mileage combination. And you get that 1100 by running 60 to 62 miles per hour. If you are at above 62 miles an hour, then you're about, you're running in the 1200 to 1250 range, which is burning more fuel than is optimal for this truck. You can run in the high 10,000s, 10,900, 10,800 by going even slower and save even more fuel that way if you want. But 60 is pretty darn good. That's where I seem to be getting my best gas mileage, is right around running right around 60. So, all right, you guys asked for the video, I'm delivering. If you guys have any other suggestions for videos, I'm all ears. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. And as always, if you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe. I'm almost to 1,000. Almost to 1,000. It's the push for 1,000. So if you are still watching this video after this 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes of time, first of all, thanks. I know not everybody gets this far. But please like and subscribe to the videos. I really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate your comments. And as always, if you are thinking of coming to Prime or thinking of becoming a truck driver, please take a look at the link in my comments. Please go to driveforprime.com, and I'd appreciate it if you use my referral code. That would mean a whole lot to me. All right, take care, everybody. Stay safe out there. Bye.